We won a game of football again. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1, final score at Old Trafford. I came back from OT not too long ago. The way back was absolutely horrid. Strikes everywhere, so yeah. But anyway, Manchester United won a game of football. And the feeling that I've got right now is the feeling I had when we beat Burnley. Remember when Manchester United beat Burnley at home? 3-2, last minute penalty. It was that kind of vibe. In the grand scheme of things, obviously it's 3 points and I should be happy. And I am happy. I want the club to do well. But I'm just thinking about the next game already. And I'm thinking, if we play like this, or if we play the way we play today, is there any chance of Manchester United getting 3 points against Brentford? The manager came out before the game, I should say, and said something along the lines of, he's not going to change again. It was in the pre-match press conference. And he said even the Pope won't make him change his ideas, his philosophy, his lineup, his formation, his system, whatever you want to call it. And that frightens me, if I'm honest, because it worked today against Chelsea, but I can't sit here and tell you if it's going to work next week against Brentford. When in reality, I should be able to tell you that yes, it is going to work because the system has been working for X amount of time. But for more than 30 games, we've had tangible proof that this system doesn't work. Now, it did work today, but again, it was to our advantage because of something that happened. Robert Sanchez, who I've been praising in recent times and who had outstanding performances recently for Chelsea, commits an absolute foolish mistake. I do not know. And I was at the stadium looking at people next to me and I was going, why did he do that? And obviously I don't support Chelsea, but why did he do that? And where I was sat in the stadium, I was actually sat close to the away end. So I could see Chelsea fans and I could read on their faces like, what was he doing? That's what they were thinking. What was he doing? I saw people holding their faces. I saw people saying stuff and moaning, and they weren't happy with what Sanchez did. And even Maresca after the game came out and said, you're better off letting Bumo score rather than commit such a foolish mistake, because now, because of your mistake, Chelsea, your team, is in difficulty and down a man for the rest of the game. And this was 4 minutes in. 4 minutes. Chelsea then had to make a change. Unfortunately, it had to be Esteval that had to be taken off. But then Maresca made a series of changes that really puzzled me as a neutral fan. And I was sat next to my brother and I was going, why is he making those changes? Now, obviously, as I said, Robert Sanchez was sent off. Jurgensen came on, so Esteval had to be subbed off. No problem. Cole Palmer had to go off. And I immediately understood, not knowing that it was a groin injury, it was most likely due to an injury. And that was actually after the second substitution that I'm going to mention now. And that was Pedro Neto off for Andre Santos. And I was just sat there looking at this and going, what is Maresca doing? Because you're taking off one of your best threats going forward, because as much as I think that Pedro Neto was very one-dimensional in terms of just getting down the byline and crossing it in or chopping it back to his left foot and then crossing it in, it's an outlet. It's a threat. Some way, somehow, it is a threat. Now, with Esteval already off, with Palmer already off, you're taking off your third biggest threat on the pitch. I just didn't understand it. It really puzzled me to the point where in the second half, most of Chelsea's attacks were coming down the right-hand side in Reece James and Enzo, who was drifting out to the right-hand side to try and cross it in. It really puzzled me, man. And I think this game resulted in Chelsea losing, and I think it's large parts down to Maresca. Now, fair enough, people can talk about Sanchez and his mistakes, and I do believe that if Sanchez doesn't commit that mistake and he stays on, we're probably talking about a different result. But Maresca making those changes massively impacted the way Chelsea probably wanted to play. I just think it was extremely strange. So today, yes, it was on Sanchez, Chelsea losing, but it definitely is on Maresca as well. What I also want to say about Chelsea, and then I'll get to Manchester United in a minute, is that the holiday period is over. This whole hype around the Club World Cup is over now. I think Chelsea fans need to move on from that and face reality. You lost against Bayern Munich midweek. You lost against Manchester United today. Chelsea's next game is Lincoln away in the Carabao Cup, and then they're playing Brighton at home, which we all know is never an easy game whenever Chelsea play Brighton. And then they got the big one in the Champions League. Benfica and Jose Mourinho are coming back to Stamford Bridge to play against Chelsea. So Chelsea need to somehow, some way, find a way to win a game of football again, because it is not looking good. They've not won since the 2-0 victory at home against Fulham at Stamford Bridge. And something else that I want to mention is Manchester United's worst version. You couldn't beat that Manchester United. Alarm bells are ringing for me. If I'm really being honest, looking at this from a neutral standpoint, you haven't been able to beat Manchester United since 2013 at Old Trafford. And this was arguably the worst version. So again, this was a big blow for Chelsea, I'll be honest. And large part of it is down to Maresca and obviously Robert Sanchez. I do want to say as well though, Chelsea fans can be very happy that João Pedro is playing for their club, because he was absolutely everywhere today, especially after they went a man down. He was trying to make any and everything happen. And I felt sorry for him because there was nobody there to help him. So he was up there by himself. Andre Santos didn't really do his best to help João Pedro because he was playing on the left wing and that's not his natural position. So I did feel a bit sorry. For João Pedro. But anyway, talking about Manchester United, I think 3 points on the board is always important. But like I said, I don't know if this is going to be replicated next week. And I'm talking about the 3 points because the performance is questionable. I'm not too sure if I can call this a good performance because Man United only played well in one half, and that was the first half, not the second half. The second half was a bit stale for large parts of the game. And Manchester United actually let Chelsea come back into this game. And I was afraid for a bit because as soon as they pulled it back, I was like, yep, here we go. Manchester United are going to draw this game. Lose this game, that would have been a complete tragedy. But I was almost certain that Man United would have drawn this game. So again, I come back to what I always say with Amorim. Choices. Conscious choices. You're down a man as well, because Casemiro made a completely foolish mistake as well to bring whoever down that he brought down to get the second yellow card and get sent off after he scored the second goal for us. Casemiro gets himself sent off and you're thinking, okay, what substitution is Amorim going to make at half-time? And he takes off Sesko, who actually had a decent first half, linked up very well with Bruno Fernandes at certain points, was a threat. And I believe if he keeps on playing like that, the way he does with his teammates, linking up combinations here and there, I believe the first goal will come. So for him to take off Sesko at halftime and to bring on Manuel Ugarte, I was just sat there looking at the person to my left and I was like, why? And he told me, obviously we got a red card, so you got to bring on a midfielder. And I said, well, bring on Kobbie Mainoo. Choices. Again, Kobbie Mainoo is getting, yeah, here you go, kind of minutes. I just don't understand what Kobbie Mainoo has to do to play ahead of someone like Ugarte, who wasn't at his best, who wasn't good at all today, passing the ball to the opposition. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? It's just really confusing to me how, in Amorim's mind, someone like Manuel Ugarte is ahead of Kobbie Mainoo in a pecking order. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, today, again, we got the win, but next week we could be sat here and talk about something else. Still waiting for 2 wins in a row, by the way. Still waiting for that. So, as much as I'm happy for the 3 points, and as much as I'm happy for Bruno Fernandes getting his 100th goal in 200 Premier League appearances, there is that kind of dark cloud hovering over Manchester United, and I'm just thinking, is it going to be a win next week? That's what I'm asking myself. So, mixed feelings, if I'm honest. Mixed feelings. And the substitutions from Ruben Amorim have left me puzzled as well. I talked about the Ugarte substitution already, him taking off Sesko, bringing on Ugarte. And of course, we've got that customary centre-back substitution. I just don't know how it brings the best out of Manchester United. I really don't know. It's every game. Takes off a centre-back, brings on the centre-back. I just don't know why he's doing that. How is that benefiting Man United? How? It really puzzles me. I'll be completely honest. And I'm trying to be sensible. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to understand what he's trying to do, but taking off a centre back and bringing on a centre back every game, I don't know. I really don't know. But I guess we move on, man. I guess we move on from this and we hope for the best for next week. Brentford, you got a week to prepare now. No European football, no midweek games, no Carabao Cup. We're out of that now. So I guess it's sitting here and waiting for a week until we play Brentford next week. But I do want to give people their flowers. Brian Boumel, I thought was outstanding today. Bruno Fernandes, I thought played well today as well. Credit has to be given where it's due. I thought Sesko had a decent game. Mazraoui played a really good game as well, in my opinion. Matthijs de Ligt, one of our best defenders. Again, making sure, João Pedro didn't really have much to work with today, so I'll give him his credit as well. So yeah, let's just let's wait and see what happens next week, because I can't sit here and over celebrate, but I'm also not going to be too negative. So yeah, that's it from me. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. This is a raw reaction, not too many fancy edits. Maybe for the next game, but yeah, maybe for the Arsenal game tomorrow against Man City. But anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. It's road to 20K, closing in on 19. And I shall see you very soon, people. Peace.